Hello and welcome to our stretch class today. We're going to be working just generally through our body, so starting with our feet, working all the way up through to our neck. There will be a little bit more of a bias today towards releasing our hips, our hamstrings, our hip flexors here, and just getting a little bit of movement through the lumbar spine, your lower back in rotation. Okay, so just make sure you remember only to push yourself to as far as you feel comfortable. Nothing should ever feel like a 10 out of 10 stretch, especially if it's something that's new for you. Just work into it as you go. And if you have any questions, please stop and ask me along the way so I can help you during your real-time class. Okay, so let's get started. At one end of the mat, we're going to come up to standing and just work through some roll downs through the spine. Okay, so we'll go with both feet together and we're just going to imagine we're standing up against a wall and we're peeling ourselves down the wall away from here. So chin is drawing down towards your chest, rolling all the way down through the spine. We're going to keep our legs as straight as we can for as long as we can. And then if you need to, you can start bending the knees. And we're going to pull the hands, or wrap the hands around the legs and pull our chest in towards our thighs. Okay, if you can keep the legs straight, give that a go. And now, rolling all the way back up, straightening the legs, and back to the start. So let's go 2 more here. And last one. Use your exhale as we roll down and inhale as we roll up. Okay, on the next one, we're going to roll down and hold our legs. Now, I want you to hold it to a position that you can anchor them. Okay, so we're going to be walking. I'll just demonstrate as I talk. So rolling down, keeping the legs as straight as you can and holding wherever you can comfortably reach to. And now from here, they're staying locked and we're going to walk the length of our mat down. So this is our forward fold walk here. Okay, and then from there, we're going to bend the knees if you need to get the hands flat. And we're going to walk all the way away, coming into a cobra. Tuck the toes back into a down dog. And then we're going to walk the hands all the way back in. Rolling all the way up to restart. Rolling all the way back down. Exhale. Get your straight legs and let's go walk. Keep pushing your chest down. Your chin can tuck down as well. From here, hands go flat and let's walk it away. Keeping our core engaged as we roll through. Keeping the shoulders down away from our ears, sitting up and out of the hips as opposed to collapsing here. Tucking the toes under, pushing your heels down, your tailbones reaching up towards the ceiling and your chest is pushing through. And walking the hands back in. Rolling all the way back up. Good. Okay, let's go 1 more. Rolling down. And walks. Try and keep our feet nice and square. Hands come to the floor, step it back. Rolling through. Sitting up and out of the shoulders. You might feel this stretch through your belly, your lower back. Some of you might feel like your upper back as well. Hip flexors, and let's tuck the toes back under, pushing down. Okay, now let's just stay here and we'll just walk through our feet, alternating, pushing one heel down as far as you can, getting a nice stretch through the calf, up to the hamstring, the back of the leg, and then other side. Okay, so I know that foot mobility is pretty popular in amongst our class programming, so I'm going to do a little bit online too. We're going to start from now. So let's go rising up onto the toes and we're going to bend the knees, push them down as far as you can, pushing your hips down towards the heels. Then we're rising back up and pushing down into a down dog. Okay, so let's keep moving through this range. pushing, and back down. Let's go 2 more. And last one. And pushing back down. Okay, so let's come down to a seated position from here. I'm going to show you the first option, sitting in this position, and then I'll show you an option if you're unable to sit like this. Okay, so we're going to start with the feet flat. Now this might be enough of a stretch just to try and sit and hold this position here. Where we're wanting to stretch is through the back of the ankle in this pointed position, but also through the front of the foot and the ankle from here. Some of you might even feel it traveling down near your shins. Okay, progressions from here is you can lift one knee up, keeping the other foot flat. And we want to make sure that the foot is staying in our nice square alignment here. It's not falling out to the side. Okay, so keeping it square as it's tucked under, lifting up, and then lowering down. Then we can go other side, lift and lower. If you want to try 2, you can try 2. Okay, so that's your first option. Keep working through that now, single, single, double, or you can just do a double and lift. And I'm going to show you the option out of the saddle here. Okay, so you can come up to standing and you can tuck one toe under and back. If this is too much or your toes really don't like being tucked under like this, you can just go pushing one foot forward and down, pushing one foot forward and down. Okay, let's all go for about 10 more seconds with whatever option you're choosing. 3, 2, and 1. Nicely done. Okay, so let's move on to just a little bit of calf work now. We're going to come up into a lunge. Okay, and I want you to get to a range where your front leg is bent and you're extending the back leg away and you can get the heel flat on the floor. Okay, so just go back as far as you can in this range to where you know you can get your heel flat. Okay, it should be like a substantial stretch for the calves to keep pushing away and finding that end range. Okay, now from here we're just going to bend the knee, try and keep the heel down, and then straighten. Bend and straighten. So if you're struggling with your balance here, you can either hold on to something or you can bring your feet about hip distance apart. Okay, so we're not on a tightrope here. Get them out to our square alignment. And let's go bend and straighten. Doesn't have to be a very big range. You'll notice mine is only quite small in the back of the knee here. Let's go 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Stepping it in, let's go other side. I also feel that in the front of my ankle too, that's normal. Okay, let's find our end range here. So I like to go lower and then I lift, I swivel it out a little bit, and that's how I find my end range in this position. Okay, once you've found yours, let's go bend and straighten. Rib cage is down, shoulders are down away from your ears. We're just avoiding having any tension anywhere else in the body. Trying to relax off through the shoulders. Relax off through your jaw. A lot of people clench their teeth, especially when something's a little bit painful. Let's go 2 more. And last one. Awesome. Okay, coming down. Alright, we're going to go into just a little bit of forward folding flexion work, which is also going to get into the hamstrings and the calves a little bit here. We're just going to brush over it and then keep moving through some general mobility through the hips and then the back and the shoulders and the neck, and then we're going to come back to some hamstring, hip, more specific stuff towards the end. Okay? So next we've got our feet flexed, so you're pulling your toes up towards you, and let's sit up and out of the hips as much as we can. Okay, so you just want to make sure that when I say to sit up and out of the hips, you're not pushing the chest forward, we're lengthening up through the spine, okay? It is coming from here. We're avoiding any sort of rounding and slouching. Some people find it really hard just to sit up straight with their legs extended. You might want to grab like a pillow, or if you have any yoga blocks at home, you could sit on them. Anything that will kind of prop your hips up a little bit will then help you to get your legs straighter. Okay, we've got two options here. You might have done it earlier in the week in our combination class. I want you to actually do both to start, and then you can choose which one feels best for you. Okay, and when I say feels best, I mean what feels the most beneficial. Okay, so we're going to start lengthening up through the spine, arms are reaching up overhead, and then from here we're hinging from the hip, your tailbone is pulling forward towards your thigh. Try and keep a nice flat back. Okay, so hinging forward and coming back up, and then the hands can go down to the side. We're going to round through the back and then reach forward and then rolling all the way back up. So when I round through my back, I feel it a lot more through the back of my neck, traveling down my spine towards my lower back. I don't feel it so much through my hamstrings and my calves, whereas when I keep my back straight and I hinge forward and then reach down from there, I feel my calves, the back of my knees, my hamstrings, and the tiniest bit in my lower back. So that's why I actually like to stay alternating with both, because I get something really different out of both of them. If you're finding that they feel pretty much the same, it might be that you're not able to tilt the tailbone back enough to then get enough range. Then just pick the one that feels the most comfortable if you feel like you're getting the same benefit out of both. Okay, so we're going to spend a minute just reaching forward and coming back up with either the curved spine, the neutral spine, or both. Okay, let's do it. So taking a deep breath in and exhale. And coming back up. If you're alternating, hands come down with me, round through the back. Keep flattening out, flexing our feet if you don't feel it through the calves here. 20 seconds. Just keep me coming back. 10 seconds left. Okay, nicely done. So that's a minute worth of that one. We're going to go into some rocking now. If you'd like to roll your mat up in half or move to some carpet just for a little bit more support through the back, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so we're going to start at one end of your mat from here, and we're going to hug our knees in towards our chest as much as we can, so as hard as you can from here. Straightening through the spine, we're going to start up in a nice extended position, and then before we roll, as we roll off the tailbone, we're going to come into some flexion, so rounding through the back, and we're going to try and roll back towards our shoulders and then come back up. Now, if you already know that rolling isn't good for you, your option, or if you just don't want to try it, you can just drop your legs from one side to the other. Okay, there's definitely no pressure to do the rock. Okay, otherwise, if you're with me, we're going to start nice and tall, rolling back, round through the spine, and roll towards your shoulders, and then come all the way back up. Okay, keep it going with from here, and I'll just talk you through some options or some things that you might be feeling. Okay, so try and imagine you're rolling through each vertebrae and then coming back up towards the shoulders and back down. Now, if you feel like your back is doing a bit of a back flop like that, where it flattens down and then you're having to really pull yourself up from the legs, you might need to work on going just a touch slower, or maybe don't go all the way up, so just go to a half sort of rock. Okay, it might just mean that your back isn't able to get into enough flexion, so the tilt forward yet, and it just means that you're rolling down, then it flattens out, and then that's what's making it kind of splat down, and then you're having to push yourself back up from there. Another option though that I found helps a couple of people, if you're struggling with the rock back, you can keep one leg bent and then one leg is straight, and then pull over from there and back. Okay, and then you can use this leg as a little bit of momentum to pull yourself back up. Okay, if you're going to do the one leg though, make sure you swap sides and do both. Okay, if you're just doing the straight back still and you want to progress, you could start rolling towards one side and then coming back up, then the other, and coming back up, and then center. You could also start extending the legs as we rock side to side and center. Okay, let's do 3 more rocks. And last one. Okay, staying flat on our back from here, let's just extend all the way out through the mat. Arms can go out to the side. Okay, let's bend one leg up, and then we're just going to take it across. Extend the leg away, bending it all the way back in, and then drawing it back to the center. Lower down, other side. Bend, take the leg across, extend the leg, bending it back in, and center. Let's go 2 more on each side. And last one. You should feel really nice in your lower back. Okay, and now we're just going to go staying with both legs bent, and we're just going to drop, extend both legs away, get a little pause here. Now while we're here, to increase this stretch, say your legs are to the right, your right shoulder probably won't have any trouble staying on the floor. My back shoulder, my left side, however, is well and truly off the floor. So to increase this stretch, we're going to work on pushing the left shoulder down, or your right, whatever way you're facing. Try and get it flat on the floor. Try and keep the feet where they are. And then imagine from there, if you're still not feeling enough of a stretch, imagine you're trying to flatten the back away onto the floor. Okay, and then drawing both legs in, back to the center, other side. So twisting across, extending both legs. Now see my right shoulder is off the floor. I'm going to try and push it down. And then from there you can try and lower the back down towards the floor as well. Okay, and drawing all the way in. Let's just go hugging our knees in towards our chest, and we're going to do a circle. And circle, doesn't matter what way you're going, we're going to reverse it in a second. Pulling up as far as you can to your chest. Keep it as close to your chest as you can as you take it to the center, and then drop them out to the side. I feel this right on my hip flexors here. It feels like I'm giving them a massage with my thumbs. Okay, let's reverse your circles now. Good. Okay, and let's come up. We're going to go into one last piece for some cat and cow, flexion and extension through the back, and then we'll move on through the shoulders. Okay, so let's go starting in a 4-point kneel from here. So the hands are stacked underneath the shoulders, knees are stacked underneath the hips, and let's go with our knees in line with our sit bones, so that's in line with the bony part of your bottom. And now from here we're going to push the floor away, tuck the tailbone under, rounding through the spine. And now from here we're going to sink back, keep pushing it away, and forward, back to the center, and then scoop it through, pushing your tailbone up towards the ceiling, your rib cage is drawing down towards the floor, and our chin is pushing up. Shoulders are reaching down away from your ears from here as well. And then we're going to push back, and forward, to the center, and back to our neutral spine. And then pushing the floor away, flexion. Tucking the tailbone under, and sink it back, and forward. Normal to feel a stretch through the wrists here when we go forward. Back to the center, and then pushing through. And last one here. Okay, now we're going to work with a child's pose. So let's walk the hands away. And we'll go with our fingertips on the mat. Elevate your shoulders and push your knees back a little bit. And now from here, tailbone is reaching up towards the ceiling. Your chest is, your belly is pushing through, and then your chest is following, coming down from here. So for some of you, flat hands might feel better. If you don't get a stretch here, either through the belly, the upper back, the armpit sort of area, through the pecs as well, through the front of the chest, you might want to go up onto the fingertips and then push through. Okay, if you don't quite feel a stretch from there, you can then elevate the hands evenly with something else and then push through, letting the head hang. Okay, you can also do this standing, holding onto the bar. And then you could walk away and push through from there, bending the knees. Okay, completely up to you. Alrighty, we're going to move on now. So just grab a drink, have a little breather, then we're going to get into our shoulder work. Okay, coming into our shoulder mobility work, let's go with our feet out in front of us from here, and we're going to go with the fingertips pointing away, and let's just bend the elbows, sinking down as far as you can, and then keeping the elbows straight. We're going to walk them out as far as you can from there, and then rise all the way back up, bending and straighten, and then walk away. Good. And then drawing all the way back up. So where you might feel this one is through the front of the shoulders here. Some of you might feel right up the back there, your shoulder blades. I feel my wrists a little bit as well. Okay, so let's hold either the bent arm or the straight arm, whatever you get more out of, and then we're going to hold it here for 30 seconds. Okay, so 5 seconds, let's get into it. And 30 seconds starting now. Good, let's use our breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. If you're doing the straight armed one and it aggravates through the elbows, just come up and go into the bent arm. It'll definitely help keep it out of the inside of the elbow there. 5 seconds. And 1. Nicely done. Okay, drawing it all the way in, and let's just come up and have a little stretch from here, little shake off. Okay, we're going to do a stretch for our delts. Now, we're going to go into a clasped fingered position. Elbows are sort of out to the side, just slightly, and then we're dropping down from here. And now we're going to go shifting our shoulders on a backward diagonal. From here, trying to close the gap from our chest towards our bicep, and then pull this opposite shoulder down towards the other arm. And then from here you can shift forward and back. And then other side when you're ready. Shifting across, pulling the shoulder down. Okay, now we're going to circle with both, so keeping the elbows planted, and let's go circle round, forward, round, and center. Other side, round, forward, round, and center. One more each way. And last one. Okay, and we're just going to come up from here, sitting however you like, and let's circle one arm around. Try and keep the shoulders down away from our ears, keeping your torso as square as you can to the front, and then imagine the arm is drawing a straight line the whole way around. And reverse. What I mean by that is we're trying not to flare the arm out to the side. It's just drawing straight back and forward. Let's go other side. Shoulders stay down. Try and keep our rib cage down as well. And reverse. Okay, so we're going to sit down on our bottom for the next one. And just cross your legs or have them extended out in front of you. And we're going to go with our hands flat on the floor. And we're going to try and keep the palm on the floor as well if you can. And we're just going to take our head to one side. This is helping to keep our shoulders down away from our ears. And then head to the other side. Okay, and now we're going to go dropping to one side, looking down towards the floor. Try and keep your ear down, and then looking back up. And then return back to the center. Other side, dropping straight down to towards the shoulder, and then looking down. And eye gaze comes up. And coming back. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of massage work through the jaw and through your cheeks, underneath the jaw as well, especially if you're wanting to hold a lot of tension by clenching your jaw. This will feel maybe painful, but it should feel nice and satisfying afterwards. So we're going to go drawing your finger in towards itself, so tucking it in, and then your knuckles should be pointing up towards the ceiling. And now we're going to draw with the flat part of our finger here along the jaw. Okay, I'm just about to take my little microphone piece out so I can do the full range, but we're going to be scooping, pressing down as firm as you feel comfortable, drawing all the way up towards the ear. Okay? Cool. So you can do underneath the jaw as well. Good. Okay, so keep it going. Feel free to go under and on the top of the jaw, and then we'll go to the other side now as well. Okay, let's go 2 more. And 6. Good. Okay, and let's just go circling through the head, rolling all the way through. And the other side. Okay, getting into our more specific sort of hip releasing work now. So we're going to stay on our bottom, and we're just going to bring our legs out in front of us from here. Let's go a little bit wider than hip distance, keeping the feet flat to start, and we're just going to drop the knee in as far as you can, keeping the whole foot on the floor, and then drawing it all the way back, and other side. So keep going with this one as I talk you through what we're focusing on. So our sit bones, the bony part of our bottom, are staying fixed on the floor on both sides as we keep the foot flat as well, working on some internal rotation and then drawing back up to our square position. Drawing in. It's normal to be feeling this one right through near your groin. Some of you might even feel your hip flexor. And let's go both knees in and away, and then single and single. Okay. Now let's progress. You can let the foot lift up off the floor. Try and keep your sit bone on the floor though. Now, when I say that, I keep my sit bone on the floor, but to get as much as I can out of this position, and I do have quite a lot of movement through my hips, so this might only apply to some of you. You can keep drawing the knee down, the foot will come off. My sit bone is still in contact with the floor, but it actually pulls out of its square alignment, and then I'll show you from the side angle here, and then we draw all the way back up and it returns back to our square position. Then the other side shifts forward, it stays along the floor, and then it scoops back. Good. Okay, let's keep it going. Forward and back. So I've been sitting a lot more lately at the computer, and this feels really good after so much sitting to release through my hip flexors. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying this one too. Okay, let's go 2 more. And last one. Okay, let's take our feet a little bit wider than hip distance now, and we're just going to drop both of them in towards each other evenly. Good. And then if you want to get a little bit of movement, you can draw it down just a touch more on each side. Let's go 5 more. 4, 3, and 1. Nice work, drawing it all the way in. Okay, so we're going to go with one leg extended now. I'm just going to go sideways on my mat, and then we've got one leg bent. Okay, flexing the foot, straightening through the knee, and let's rise up, sitting up and out of the hips, and we're going to roll down, forward, and back up. So from an extension of what we were doing before, you can either do the hinge or the rounded spine. We just want to try and keep the hips square here, okay? So with the extended leg, people tend to want to shoot that one forward, and then you might want to start twisting away. Try and keep square here, pull the heel back. This foot is in line with our knee, and then we're just going to reach as far forward as we can from here, and rising back up. So let's go 2. Then we're working with an active flex position. So throughout our stretch classes, we always focus on strength through range, because we want to be able to utilize any of the flexibility work that we've been focusing on. So from here, let's go try and rise the leg up as high as you can, and lower, up, and lower. 2 forward, and rise, up, down 3, and up, and rise, rise. Nice. Okay, so we're going to take the leg just out to the side on a diagonal. Okay, so it's not quite in our full half middle split stretch. Okay, it's just off to the side from there, and we're going to square the body to the leg. Okay, it shouldn't be too much of a strain to square from here, as it's only just a very slight diagonal. Okay, and now we're going to reach forward, keep twisting the opposite shoulder across, and twist across. And now from here, we're going to take the other hand over as we reach the leg up as high as you can, and back, up, and back. Twisting to the leg again, squaring, and up, and last one, and up, reaching away, and down, and down. Okay, taking the leg all the way out to the side now. So from here, this leg will be away from the knee. I'll just turn to face this way. Okay, now we're going to stay square. Let's try and push this hip down towards the floor, and we're taking the opposite arm over, and up, over, and up. And now from here, we're going to keep this heel in contact with the floor as we rotate round. And then we're going to reach forward, lift the leg up, and lower, up, and lower. Coming all the way back, squaring the hips, and reaching over. And back, over, and back, twisting through. Reaching the chest down, lifting up and down, up and down. Nice. Okay, let's draw all the way in, and we'll do all of that on the other side. So reaching the leg straight out in front of you, arms can reach up and forward from here. And last one. And up. So let's go active flex. And lower, up, and lower. And again, last one. And lifting up, lower, up, and lower. Good. Okay, on a slight diagonal, and let's square our chest, reaching forward. And up, twisting, squaring, pushing the belly button down forward, and up, and then reaching away, lifting the leg and lower. You can be up on the hand or on the elbow, whatever's comfortable for you, and then twisting again. Last one. Exhale to come down and reaching away, lift and lower, lift and lower. Okay, leg goes straight out to the side and reaching across. You can flex or point your foot. Keeping the heel down, let's rotate round. Hands can come down or elbows can come down. And let's go lifting the leg up and lower, up and lower. Coming all the way up, squaring your hips, and again reaching over. And square, rolling round on our elbows and lifting up and lower, up and lower. Nicely done. Okay, drawing it all the way in, and let's go back to our internal external rotation. Don't stress too much about sit bones or feet for this one. Okay, let's get into a little bit of inner thigh stretching now. So we'll go with our hands stacked underneath the shoulders and take one leg straight out to the side from here. Now you can flex your foot, draw your toes up towards you, start with the leg parallel to the floor, and let's go rotate the leg up, sink it back if you can, coming all the way back up with the hips, and rotate down. And then keeping the rotation in parallel, sinking back again, and rising up. Rotate up, and back, and down, and up. Okay, the next one we're going to be working with, you can use your slides for this one, or if you prefer to just have your socks or no slides at all, I like to have no slide. We're going to reach it as far away as you can in the external rotation. Good. And then rising all the way back up. And then let's go parallel, reaching it back away. And then all the way back up. External. If you prefer to just stay with the hips pushing back, go for it. And up. Internal rotation. And now we're going to hold in this internally rotated position. So pushing away as far as you can. If you feel like you're a little bit too upright, it's aggravating your lower back, just come down onto the elbows. Okay, we're going to hold it here for 20 seconds. Shoulders are relaxed. 10 seconds. Try and be stacked here. So if you were to draw a straight line from your ankle, it would travel all the way up your leg. It would go across your hips and down into the other knee. Okay, we're trying not to be too far forward or pushed too far back. Okay, drawing it in, and let's do that on the other side. So from here, rotate up, pushing the hips back, and rise, rotate down, hips go back again. Keeping this leg as straight as you can, that's out to the side, and back up. And rotate down, and back up. Rotate down, and back up. Okay, and now let's start pushing the leg away. So starting in parallel, pushing out as far as you can, and drawing all the way in, external rotation, toes up towards the ceiling. And all the way in, internal rotation, and let's hold it on this one. Remember, you can be on your elbows here. 30 seconds, dropping our shoulders down. Use your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Remember, we want to be stacked. It's normal to feel both sides stretching here. 10 seconds. and 1. Okay, drawing it all the way in. Okay, so we're going to go into a little bit of hip flexor stretching from... Okay, so let's go into a little bit of hip flexor stretching from here. Coming up into a lunge. So you can start on your knees. Let's start with them about hip distance apart. We're going to bring one leg out, just forward. It doesn't have to be fully extended. We just want to have the ankle stacked directly above the knee, sorry, below the knee. And now we are going to be tucking the tailbone under, so drawing the tailbone down towards the floor, lengthening through this bent leg on the bottom. And now we have 2 options from here. You can either sink forward, the knee can come over the toe, that's fine. I actually would prefer, for me personally, that I do push the leg back away, keeping the tailbone tucked under. I feel a lot stronger here as opposed to when my foot is tucked under, but do what feels good for you. Okay, second option is we can tuck under and then reach back. I love this one. I feel like it definitely gets into my hip flexors more than my quads. And quads, I find people find it's a lot easier to feel the stretch in their quad than it is right up in the front of the hip flexor here. So if you're someone who struggles to feel that, let's go tucking under and then reaching back. If you can hold on to something, if you can reach down towards the floor, you could do that. This is obviously quite an advanced stretch. And drawing it in, let's go other side. Forward, and tailbone is under. You can either sink forward from here or reach back. Okay, and drawing in. So for the last 5 minutes, I'm going to finish it off in a way that I love to finish is with a long hold of something. Okay, so I want you to allocate 5 minutes, and I'm just going to talk you through each of the exercises, and then you can go off and do that 5 minutes or 10 minutes if you're feeling up to it yourself. So the 3 exercises that you have to hold. First one is a frog, so you can either do this laying on your back or your belly, and you're just going to bring the feet together, and then on the back it's just like this, laying out. These stretches should feel pretty relaxing to hold. It shouldn't feel like a maximal effort. Okay, this is the first option for the frog. Second option for your frog is on your belly, feet are together, and then you can just hold it here, or you could be stacked holding it here. Okay, that's your first option. Second option is up against the wall. So you could do a straddle stretch from here where you draw your hips as close as you can to the wall, and then you can just take your legs out to the side. Okay, and then you can just hold here. I find this one's really beneficial compared to trying to hold a 5-minute sort of middle stretch in the center, because people tend to rise up with the chest subconsciously, whereas this kind of keeps us in a fixed position. Your back's supported by the floor. This is a great one. Okay, and then the last one that you have the option of doing is bringing the bottom away from the wall. Your feet are elevated, and then we're just letting them rest here. Okay, so you shouldn't be working hard to hold your feet together or hold an external rotation. Just bring your feet stacked in line with the sit bones, and then just let them fall out to wherever they naturally want to fall. And then this is good for, especially if you've been sitting a lot or standing a lot, draining some of the blood out of our feet. It's good for reducing inflammation just by having the legs elevated above your heart. Now, you can also have your head with a pillow underneath it if you find this is a little bit too much on your head. But if you're finding that this is far too much and you're feeling dizzy after 5 minutes worth, maybe do a different one. If you have high blood pressure, I'd avoid this one. Maybe just do the one laying flat on the floor in a frog. Okay, so lots of options there. I hope you enjoyed today's stretch class. Let me know how you go.